Here's how to kill those BS thoughts in your mind that are holding you back in life. In today's video, I wanted to share with you what's worked for me to help remove a lot of negative thoughts that were holding me back. And guys, one important thing to remember here is it's normal to be angry. It's normal to be pissed off. It's normal to feel frustrated if you're not happy with your current situation. So if you're feeling any of those emotions, that's normal, and that's actually a good thing because that means you are aware that you're not living up to your potential yet. So the important thing to know before we even get into this is that it needs to be your fuel, your frustration, your anger, all the problems you have, that needs to be the fuel that you used for change. And let's dive into what I think you can do and what's worked for me to virtually reduce most of the negativity in my life, right? Where I can make consistent progress. So the very first thing is, guys, we have to be taking care of ourselves. You need to be getting a proper amount of sleep because if you're not, you're never really gonna feel that good. And there's a lot of people will be like, oh, I can work off, 3 hours of sleep. But look at their life. Most of the time, they're probably not in a position where you really wanna be, right? And I think that's incredibly important because at the end of the day, human beings need sleep, and that's something that is not a negotiable thing. So for you, it's important to get on a consistent sleep schedule. Whatever that may look like, everybody's gonna have different times and schedules that they go to bed, but you should try to keep that as consistent as possible because then that gets your body into a consistent cycle where there's no shocking your body, no surprises with all these different wake up times and go to bed times, right? And that's really your first step. The next thing you need to be aware of is who are you hanging out with? What kind of conversations are those people having? They could be friends, they could be family, they could be people on the internet. What are the conversations that they have? Or do they have a fixed mindset? Do they have a lot of limiting beliefs? Do they have a victim mindset? Do they believe that other people are the reason that they aren't where they want to be? Guys, if that's the case, you unfortunately need to stop associating with those people because those thoughts, they pollute your mindset, right? And if you listen to those types of thoughts enough from other people and then they become your own thoughts and then that materializes in your own life. Another thing is if you're, constantly consuming negative information on the internet, you're scrolling all through social media, looking at all the problems in the world, all the negative stuff, and that is gonna, again, create a negative feedback loop in your mind where you believe that everything is just negative and bad because this is the information that you're taking in constantly. So you need to monitor that extremely closely and start to eliminate it because the first step to eliminating it is becoming aware of it. So the next thing that we have to do here, guys, is we need to be focused on what we actually want and be taking action because I will tell you for sure that inaction on what you want in life will cause more doubt, more insecurity, more feelings of, failure, anything you could imagine, right? All the bad feelings is because if you're not taking action towards what you really do want, well, you're not going to feel very good because you're stuck, no inaction, you're not doing anything and life is passing by and each day goes by and you're nowhere closer to the goal you want or whatever outcome you're looking for in your life. Another important thing really to know is when you have those BS thoughts in your mind, right? I want you to really think clearly about this. Ask yourself, how is your current conditioning? What does your physique look like? What does your diet look like? Because, yeah, those things alone aren't going to solve every single problem. But when you put the proper foods in your body every single day, when you're strength training, when you're outside, you're getting sunlight, when you're exercising, doing cardio, when you're moving your body, improving your body every day, getting into better shape, by default, that is going to get rid of a lot of those thoughts that are negative in your mind. Because when you make progress in life, that's a positive vibration, right? That is not something that is going to feel negative ever. And yeah, it might be kind of painful, but that pain is rewarding, right? Because you get to feel that little bit of progress you make each day when you actually commit to your actions. And the next thing is the elimination of your bad habits. This is probably the biggest one. If you just did this alone, a lot of those BS thoughts would go away for you because when you engage in your vices, and that's different for everybody, but we always talk about the common ones here. We talk about drinking too much, smoking too much, overeating, adult media content. Those kind of seem to be the biggest four. But when you're doing that stuff, right, you're constantly putting yourself into, again, a negative feedback loop. So Now let's take this scenario here. We have somebody who, you know, they have a lot of BS thoughts in their head, right? They don't feel good about themselves. They don't have the confidence that they want to go after what they're looking for in life. And they're always telling themselves stories on why they can't do specific things. Well, let's take account here. So if their sleep schedule is messed up, if you're staying up till all hours of the morning, have to get up super early, you know, all these weird things where you're really just, you know, chronically sleep deprived. Of course, that's gonna be a problem for you. If you're not taking the action you want towards your goals, let's say you wanna get into shape, you wanna start getting fit. If you're not doing that, well, that's gonna eat away at you because you know in your mind that's what you want, but you're not actually doing it. So there creates this gap, I believe it's called cognitive dissonance, and that's when you believe something about yourself, but you don't actually follow through on the actions, right? And so another thing is too, guys, if you're not like hitting the gym, you're not moving your body, and you're polluting it with low quality, high processed junk food every single meal, of course you're gonna feel doubtful, right? It's impossible not to. I mean, I certainly would be if I was doing this stuff. And lastly, you know, if you're drinking every night, if you're smoking weed every day, you know, engaging all these different vices that create that negative feedback loop that puts you into that low state where you feel shame, guilt, apathy, you know, doubt, fear, all those negative emotions come from that. So imagine you're doing all four of those things I just mentioned on a daily basis. Well, I don't think there's anybody in the world who is going to feel really good and feel ready to take on the world and get the results that they want. Of course, you're going to have negative thoughts, negative, you know, feedback. So just by taking care of those four areas, you're going to be able to remove a lot of that doubt. And remember, one of the important things to know is having those BS negative thoughts, you have to use that as your fuel to change, right? That is your fuel. So take that energy, because negative energy is powerful if it's used right. But if it's used wrong, it's extremely self-destructive. So start to practice self-awareness around that, and really be very careful in those four areas I mentioned in this video. Again, that's your body and mind, right? Your sleep, what you're putting into your mind, everything that goes in your mind on a daily basis. Take note of it. If it's negative, it's going to hold you back. If you're not taking any action towards your goals, well, that's going to cause a lot of problems for you because life is passing you by and you're not making progress. And if you're not taking care of your health and fitness, putting decent food into your body, again, that's going to create problems for you. And lastly, if you're engaging in those self-destructive habits that you have, well, yeah, of course you're going to have BS thoughts, guys. Anyway, that was what was on my mind. I hope you guys are all doing well today. Make sure you subscribe to the video, hit the thumbs up button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Also, I have a free community. This is for like-minded people who want to win. You can join that for free, and when you do join, you'll gain access to my self-mastery blueprint. It essentially covers these four areas I discussed in this video in a little more depth. Again, that is free, so make sure you check it out. And guys, I look forward to seeing you next video.